The story opens with a sense of unease and displacement, capturing the heroine's immediate struggle as she steps into a world completely foreign to her. She is young and unpolished, someone who has lived a sheltered or turbulent life, unprepared for the vast openness and harsh realities of a ranch. The dust-streaked horizon stretches endlessly, and the scent of hay, livestock, and open earth greets her as she approaches the ranch for the first time. Each sound, the lowing of cattle, the creaking of barn doors, the distant clang of tools feels overwhelming, a sensory barrage reminding her how out of place she is. Her hands tremble, not just from the physical exertion of carrying her small belongings, but from the anxiety coursing through her heart. She has been thrust into a new life, one she neither understands nor feels ready for. The rancher, a tall, rugged man shaped by years of labor under the sun and the quiet responsibility of managing a vast property, watches her arrival with cautious curiosity. Unlike the bustling towns she has known, this place moves at a rhythm dictated by seasons, animals, and the land itself. To the rancher, the young woman's hesitation is obvious, yet he senses her vulnerability is not weakness, it is honesty. He sees in her eyes the fear of failing expectations, not just her own but those of others who have orchestrated this union. Their first interaction is tender yet awkward. She admits in a trembling voice, "I don't know how to be a wife," her confession raw and unguarded. There is no pretense, no attempt to mask her insecurities. She speaks the truth about her uncertainty, the vast chasm between societal expectations and her personal readiness. It is a moment of radical honesty, one that could easily provoke judgment or dismissal in another. Yet, the rancher responds differently. Instead of scolding or criticizing, he offers reassurance, "Then let love be enough." Those words, simple and unadorned, carry profound weight. They acknowledge that marriage is not merely about performing duties or conforming to roles. It is about trust, connection, and the willingness to grow together. In that brief exchange, a fragile bridge is formed between them built on acceptance rather than expectation. As she steps inside the ranch house, she feels a mixture of apprehension and wonder. The rooms are spacious but modest, lined with practical furniture, the evidence of a life grounded in routine and responsibility. Yet, there is warmth of fire crackling in the hearth, the faint smell of freshly baked bread, and the quiet rhythm of the rancher's life that promises steadiness in the midst of her uncertainty. She begins to realize that this environment, though intimidating, might also be a place of safety, where mistakes are met with guidance rather than ridicule. Throughout this first encounter, the narrative establishes key themes: vulnerability, trust, patience, and the transformative power of love. Her trembling is not just physical, it symbolizes the internal conflict of stepping into unknown territory, confronting fears, and opening herself to possibilities she never imagined. The Ranchers.com presence and measured words provide a counterbalance, introducing the idea that love and understanding can replace rigid expectations. By the end of part 1, the stage is set. The heroine is both daunted and curious, aware of the challenges ahead, but slightly comforted by the knowledge that she will not face them alone. The reader is drawn into her emotional journey, feeling the tension of uncertainty while sensing the potential for growth, intimacy, and a life shaped by love rather than obligation. This opening chapter plants the seeds for transformation, both for the young woman learning to navigate marriage and for the rancher discovering the quiet strength in patience and compassion. Begins as the young woman steps into the rhythm of ranch life, and the initial awe of her arrival gives way to the overwhelming reality of daily responsibilities. The sprawling property is alive with activity. Cattle need feeding, fences must be repaired, and chores come with no pause for hesitation. Every day is a test of endurance and adaptability, and she quickly realizes that her sheltered past has left her unprepared for the relentless demands of this environment. She struggles with even the simplest tasks: milking the cows, mucking out the stalls, or learning to handle tools she's never touched before. Each failure is accompanied by a creeping sense of inadequacy, and she often finds herself on the verge of tears, questioning whether she can truly belong in this world. The rancher, patient and observant, does not scold her. Instead, he demonstrates the tasks with quiet precision, offering guidance through example rather than reprimand. When she falters, he gently corrects her, showing that mistakes are part of learning. This approach contrasts sharply with her past experiences, where error often brought shame or punishment. Here, she begins to feel a small but significant shift, the recognition that she is allowed to grow at her own pace. That love and understanding can be more powerful than expectation and criticism. His calm presence is grounding, and though she struggles physically and mentally, she senses that he believes in her capability, even when she doubts herself. The challenges of ranch life are not purely physical, they are deeply emotional as well. She is confronted with isolation, the vastness of the land magnifying her sense of being alone in the world. Nights are long and silent, broken only by the occasional cry of an animal or the whisper of wind through the fields. These moments amplify her insecurities, and she often retreats inward, questioning whether she can ever meet the unspoken expectations of being a wife and partner. Yet, amid these doubts, small victories begin to emerge. Successfully feeding the livestock, mending a broken fence, or preparing a simple meal for the rancher instills a growing sense of pride. Each accomplishment, however minor, reinforces her belief that she is capable of more than she initially imagined. Beyond the chores, there are quiet lessons in observation. She watches the rancher navigate his world with patience, respect for the land, and care for the animals. She begins to understand that strength is not merely physical but also emotional and moral. Slowly, she learns to anticipate his needs, to act with thoughtfulness, and to participate in a life that requires both diligence and empathy. These lessons, learned through daily experience rather than formal instruction, help her build confidence and a sense of belonging. The emotional connection between them deepens during these early days. In moments of shared laughter over clumsy mistakes or quiet exchanges as the sun sets over the ranch, she begins to feel a bond forming. She starts to sense that the rancher's reassurance, "Let love be enough," is not an abstract idea but a tangible reality, one that gives her permission to be imperfect while still deserving of care and acceptance. This realization is transformative. It teaches her that marriage and life on the ranch are not about flawless execution but about the willingness to grow together, to face hardships side by side, and to cherish small moments of connection. By the end of Part 2, she has begun to find her footing in this new world. She is still trembling, still uncertain, but there is a budding confidence that she has never felt before. The rancher's quiet mentorship and the daily challenges of ranch life are shaping her not only into a capable partner but also into a stronger, more self-assured woman. The stage is set for deeper emotional intimacy and the gradual transformation that will define her journey. The foundation of trust and patience laid in these first days promises growth, connection, and a love that transcends traditional expectations. Shifts the focus from the physical challenges of ranch life to the emotional and personal connection developing between the young woman and the rancher. By now, she has started to adapt to the routines of the ranch, though her insecurities have not completely faded. The long hours of work, shared chores, and quiet evenings begin to reveal dimensions of the rancher that she had not noticed at first. His kindness, patience, and the gentle way he observes the world around him. She sees that beneath his rugged exterior lies a man capable of deep understanding and unwavering support. Someone whose strength is rooted not only in physical labor but in emotional steadiness. It is during these quiet moments, often at the end of a hard day, that they begin to truly talk. They sit by the fire as the sun sets, or linger on the porch after tending to the animals, sharing stories that reveal their vulnerabilities. She tells him about her fears, her feeling of inadequacy, her lack of experience, and the doubts that haunt her about being worthy of love. The rancher, in turn, speaks softly of his own past, hinting at heartbreaks, disappointments, and the loneliness that has shaped him. There is no pretense in these conversations. Each word exchanged is deliberate, building trust and intimacy. These moments of connection are not dramatic, they are quiet, understated, and profound. He listens without judgment, offering only small gestures of reassurance, a hand resting on hers briefly, a smile that conveys understanding, or simply attentive silence. Through these interactions, she begins to realize that love is not about perfection or mastery of societal roles, but about presence, attention, and mutual respect. She feels seen for the first time in her life, not as someone defined by her mistakes or inexperience, but as a complete person with potential and worth. Shared laughter also becomes a vital part of their bond. Clumsy mishaps on the ranch's spilled bucket of milk, a runaway animal, or a mismanaged chore become opportunities for humor rather than shame. The rancher's ability to find lightness in hard work teaches her to approach challenges with patience and grace. In these playful interactions, she experiences a sense of belonging and begins to associate the ranch not just with labor and struggle, but with warmth, comfort, and emotional safety. Trust deepens through mutual reliance. As she grows more confident in her skills, she begins to anticipate his needs and offer help proactively. He, in turn, shows confidence in her abilities, leaving tasks for her to complete independently and praising her efforts when she succeeds. This reciprocity fosters a sense of equality in their relationship, eroding the power imbalance that might have existed at the start. They are no longer simply teacher and student or provider and dependent. They are partners, learning to navigate life together. The natural surroundings of the ranch amplify these connections. The quiet of the land, the soft glow of sunrise over the fields, and the tranquil nights under the stars provide a backdrop for reflection and shared contemplation. Here, away from societal judgment, they can explore emotions freely, opening up in ways impossible in crowded towns or formal settings. Nature itself seems to mirror their gradual emotional unfolding, slow, steady, and inevitable. By the end of Part 3, the young woman feels a shift within herself. The trembling she experienced at the start has not vanished entirely, but it has softened into anticipation rather than fear. She senses that love, as the rancher promised, may indeed be enough, not as a replacement for knowledge or skill, but as a foundation for growth, courage, and partnership. The quiet bond they are building becomes a refuge from uncertainty, a safe space where both can be themselves. These moments of connection lay the groundwork for deeper intimacy, mutual respect, and emotional resilience, preparing them for the trials and triumphs that lie ahead. Introduces the first significant external and internal challenges that test both the young woman's confidence and the stability of the bond she is forming with the rancher. Up until now, her growth has been gradual, nurtured by the rhythm of ranch life and the rancher's patient guidance. However, no journey toward love and self-assurance is complete without obstacles, and this chapter focuses on the doubts and pressures that threaten to shake her fragile sense of security. The external conflict emerges in several forms. Perhaps a neighboring rancher, skeptical of her abilities or envious of the rancher's attention, questions her presence and suitability. Or maybe a distant relative arrives, disapproving of the marriage arrangement or her background, casting judgment in a way that triggers her insecurities. Even the unforgiving environment of the ranch itself can create tension. A sudden storm, a stubborn herd of cattle, or a broken piece of equipment reminds her how easily things can go wrong. Each external pressure serves to magnify the uncertainty she already feels about her role as a wife and partner. Internally, the young woman grapples with she questions whether her love and intentions are enough to meet the expectations, real or imagined, placed upon her. Thoughts like "I'm not strong enough," "I'm not capable," and "he deserves someone better" swirl in her mind. She feels inadequate, as if every mistake or moment of hesitation confirms her fears that she cannot succeed in this new life. These feelings are compounded by the subtle fear of disappointing the rancher, whom she has grown to admire and trust. She worries that her vulnerability, once endearing, might soon be seen as weakness or incompetence. The rancher senses the tension, noticing the subtle changes in her demeanor, the quiet avoidance of his gaze, the hesitant movements, the way she second-guesses herself. Rather than chastising her, he continues to offer support. But the challenge now lies in helping her confront her inner fears while navigating the external pressures. He encourages her to articulate her anxieties, prompting honest conversations where she admits, perhaps with tears, how overwhelmed she feels. These discussions reveal both the depth of her insecurities and her growing courage in facing them, even if tentatively. Conflict also arises between them not as malice, but as the natural friction that occurs when two people are learning to understand and rely on one another under pressure. The rancher's expectations, though gentle, sometimes clash with her self-perception, leading to brief misunderstandings. Perhaps he asks her to take on a responsibility she feels unready for, or he expresses concern about her safety, which she interprets as criticism. These small moments create tension, forcing both to navigate communication, patience, and trust. Through these trials, the young woman begins to confront a crucial truth, that love is not merely a feeling, but an act of persistence and courage. She realizes that being a partner is not about perfection, but about willingness to try, to fail, and to continue despite fear. Each mistake becomes a learning opportunity, and each act of support from the rancher reinforces the idea that they are in this together. By the end of Part 4, the young woman experiences both fear and growth. The external pressures and internal doubts have shaken her confidence, but they have also prompted a deeper understanding of herself and the nature of love. She begins to see that the rancher's reassurance, "Let love be enough," is not a simple platitude, but a guiding principle that will carry them through hardship. This chapter leaves the reader on the cusp of transformation. The trials have tested their bond, but they have also strengthened it, setting the stage for courage, resilience, and the gradual deepening of intimacy in the next part of the story. Marks a turning point in the story, where the young woman is pushed beyond the boundaries of her comfort and must prove to herself and to the rancher that she is capable of more than she ever imagined. After the doubts and pressures of Part 4, both external and internal, she now faces a situation that demands courage, decisiveness, and trust in both her own abilities and the bond she shares with the rancher. This is the moment that tests the strength of their relationship and solidifies her transformation from timid and uncertain to brave and self-reliant. The crisis may take several forms, depending on the story's context: a sudden accident on the ranch, such as a runaway horse or a trapped animal, a dangerous storm that threatens the livestock or property, or even a medical emergency involving the rancher or one of the animals. Whatever the challenge, it is designed to push her beyond observation and into active participation. Until now, she has largely been learning, adapting, and cautiously testing her skills. Now, she is compelled to act decisively, relying on instincts, judgment, and trust in the guidance the rancher has given her. At first, fear dominates her response. Her heart races, hands shake, and self-doubt whispers that she is inadequate for the task at hand. But in these critical moments, the rancher's presence becomes a stabilizing force. He offers brief instructions, his voice steady and confident, allowing her to act independently while knowing he is close if she falters. This delicate balance of guidance and freedom demonstrates trust in her abilities and reinforces the lesson that love is not about control but about mutual support and belief. She begins to see that she can rise to challenges when encouraged, rather than belittled, and that her courage matters more than perfection. As she takes action, she discovers hidden reserves of strength. Perhaps she lifts, steadies, or redirects something she thought impossible. Maybe she comforts an animal in distress, or navigates a treacherous situation with careful attention. Each success, no matter how small, builds her confidence and shifts her self-perception. The trembling of uncertainty is replaced by a pulse of empowerment, the realization that she is not helpless, that she can rise to meet challenges with determination and care. The rancher watches with quiet pride. Recognizing her growth and the courage she has summoned, his admiration is not expressed through grand gestures but through subtle acknowledgement, a nod, a hand on her shoulder, or a reassuring smile. This moment strengthens the emotional bond between them, as she understands that trust and respect are reciprocal. He trusts her to act, and she begins to trust herself. Their partnership evolves from reliance and instruction to genuine collaboration, the foundation of a strong, enduring relationship. The aftermath of the test is significant. Whether the crisis is resolved flawlessly or with minor mistakes, she emerges transformed. She has faced her fears and succeeded in a tangible, meaningful way. This experience teaches her that love, patience, and support are not abstract ideals, they are lived through action, courage, and shared trials. The rancher's words, "Let love be enough," now resonate more deeply, demonstrating that love provides the encouragement to face uncertainty, rather than shield one from it. By the end of Part 5, she feels a newfound sense of capability and confidence. The test of trust has proven that she is stronger, braver, and more resourceful than she imagined. Their relationship is solidified by shared experience and mutual reliance, setting the stage for deeper emotional intimacy and the slow transformation of her identity. This chapter underscores the narrative's central theme: love and trust, when combined with courage and persistence, are enough to overcome fear, uncertainty, and the trials of life together. Focuses on the gradual, emotional evolution of the young woman as she becomes more confident, comfortable, and integrated into the life of the ranch. By this point, she has faced both personal doubts and tangible challenges, and the experiences of the past chapters have begun to reshape her understanding of herself, the rancher, and the meaning of love. This section emphasizes the slow, nuanced transformation that comes not from sudden realization but from consistent experience, shared responsibility, and mutual trust. The young woman's growing competence in daily tasks is now evident. Chores that once seemed impossible, tending to livestock, maintaining fences, cooking meals, are no longer sources of panic or humiliation. Her movements are steadier, her confidence apparent even in small details. She knows when a horse is uneasy, how to balance a heavy pail, or when the rancher needs assistance without asking. This physical confidence mirrors her emotional growth. She begins to trust her own judgment, to act without second-guessing herself constantly, and to take pride in accomplishments she once feared would fall short. These small successes build a cumulative effect, a deepening sense of respect, and a sense that she belongs in this new world. Alongside practical skills, the emotional connection between her and the rancher deepens further. Shared moments, both intimate and everyday, solidify the foundation of trust and affection. Quiet conversations in the evening, laughter over minor mishaps, and shared meals become rituals that reinforce the bond. Their interactions are no longer purely functional or guided by instruction. They are infused with warmth, playfulness, and subtle, meaningful gestures of care. He notices her growth, responding with admiration and encouragement that feels sincere, not obligatory. His patience, combined with his belief in her potential, helps her internalize a profound truth: she is valued for who she is, not merely for her skills or her ability to fulfill societal expectations. The slow transformation is also reflected in her self-perception and identity. She begins to see herself not as a timid, inexperienced girl thrust into a role she cannot handle, but as a capable partner, someone whose contributions practical and relational matter deeply. This shift is subtle: a steadying hand when calming an animal, a quick decision during a minor crisis, or the courage to voice her opinion in a discussion with the rancher. She feels a growing sense of ownership over her life, understanding that her love and presence are integral to the partnership, not incidental. Nature and the ranch environment continue to play a symbolic role in her transformation. The rhythm of seasons, the steady rise and fall of the sun, and the quiet of the land all mirror the gradual unfolding of her confidence and emotional maturity. She begins to find solace in the predictability of daily life and beauty in the simple moments: the warmth of sunlight on the porch, the sound of wind through the fields, or the quiet companionship of the animals. These experiences reinforce her growing sense of stability, grounding her in the present and allowing her to embrace her new life fully. By the end of Part 6, The young woman has undergone a meaningful transformation. She is no longer trembling at the thought of her role. Instead, she approaches it with cautious but genuine confidence. She recognizes that simple, patient, unwavering love has indeed been enough to guide her growth. The relationship between her and the rancher is no longer defined by instruction and uncertainty, but by mutual respect, affection, and shared experience. Their bond is stronger, more resilient, and rooted in both practical collaboration and deep emotional intimacy. This chapter underscores the central theme of the story. Transformation comes slowly, through patience, experience, and the nurturing power of love. It sets the stage for the approaching declaration of commitment and mutual acknowledgement of affection in the next part, where both characters can fully embrace the depth of their connection and the future they are building together. Serves as the emotional climax of the story, where the young woman and the rancher confront their feelings openly and take a decisive step toward committing to one another. Up until this point, their bond has been developing gradually through shared experiences, challenges, and quiet moments of connection. They have grown to trust each other deeply, but the act of openly declaring love and commitment represents a conscious acknowledgement of the journey they have undertaken together and the choice to continue it. Deliberately, the chapter begins with a moment of quiet reflection. Perhaps they are sitting together at sunset, the golden light spilling across the ranch, or after completing a challenging day's work. Both feel the weight of what they have shared: trials, laughter, mistakes, and moments of courage. The young woman, who once trembled at the thought of marriage and doubted her ability to fulfill that role, now senses the depth of her feelings for the rancher. She recognizes that the connection she feels is no longer tentative or uncertain. It is steady, enduring, and rooted in mutual respect. The rancher, too, experiences a shift in perception. He has watched her grow, faced challenges together, and witnessed her courage, thoughtfulness, and resilience. He realizes that his admiration has deepened into love and affection that goes beyond gratitude or protective instincts. He recognizes that she is no longer just a vulnerable newcomer on his ranch. She is his partner, his equal, and someone whose presence has transformed his life. The declaration of commitment becomes an expression of both appreciation and choice, a conscious act of love, not merely a response to circumstance. Their conversation is heartfelt, intimate, and unpretentious. The rancher may begin with words of gratitude and admiration, acknowledging her growth and courage, then gradually express his love openly. The young woman responds in kind, admitting her own feelings and the journey she has taken from fear and doubt to confidence and trust. There is no rush, no dramatic flourish. The power lies in sincerity and the authenticity of shared experience. Each word reinforces the reality of their connection, emphasizing that love is not simply a feeling but a decision to be present, supportive, and committed. This moment also highlights a shift in power dynamics, where once she felt dependent and unsure, she now stands as a confident partner in their relationship. Her declaration carries as much weight as his, symbolizing equality, agency, and the mutual nature of love. This is a pivotal transformation. The trembling girl who feared marriage has become a woman who chooses it freely, grounded in both courage and affection. Symbolism and setting amplify the emotional resonance of this chapter. The ranch itself, with its quiet strength, steady routines, and natural beauty, mirrors the stability and solidity of their commitment. The open skies and vast landscape reflect the expansiveness of their love and the freedom they now experience together, unburdened by fear or self. Even the animals, who have silently observed their daily routines and small acts of care, seem to underscore the harmony that has been achieved between the characters and the land they inhabit. By the end of Part 7, the declaration of love and mutual commitment is complete. The young woman and the rancher have fully acknowledged their feelings and chosen to face the future together. There is a sense of peace, triumph, and fulfillment, as they recognize that the journey marked by fear, challenges, growth, and patience has led them to a love that is genuine, resilient, and enduring. This chapter sets the stage for Part 8, where the narrative moves toward resolution, illustrating how their love manifests in daily life and the shared life they now embrace. The sun dipped low over the horizon, casting the ranch in a golden glow that seemed to wrap the land in warmth. The young woman stood at the edge of the corral, watching the horses graze, her heart steady and full. The nervous trembling that had once defined every step of her uncertainty of whether she could ever be enough had faded. She had learned, through challenge and quiet patience, that love was not about perfection, but presence. It was about courage, trust, and the willingness to grow together. The rancher approached, his boots crunching softly against the earth. He carried no words of instruction, no reminder of expectation, only the calm certainty that had become their shared rhythm. She turned to him, and in his eyes, she saw all the affirmations she had once feared she'd never earn: respect, admiration, and unwavering love. "You've come so far," he said, his voice low, steady, carrying pride without condescension. "I've never doubted you for a second." A smile curved her lips, not from relief, but from quiet triumph. She reached out, taking his hand in hers. "And I've never felt more like myself," she whispered. I never knew love could make me strong." They stood together in silence, the vastness of the ranch surrounding them. Yet in that moment, it felt contained, intimate, a world made only for the two of them. The sky shifted to deep violet, and the first stars blinked awake. Here, amid the land that had once intimidated her, she had found home. Here, beside the man who had never demanded perfection, she had found belonging. He drew her close, wrapping an arm around her shoulders, and she leaned into him without hesitation. For the first time, she realized that marriage was not a role to be feared, it was a partnership, forged in patience, trust, and love. They had faced storms, doubts, and fears, and yet here they were, stronger, united, and ready for whatever lay ahead. "Let love be enough," she murmured. Echoing the words he had first spoken to her, he smiled, pressing a gentle kiss to her temple. "It has been, and it will continue to be, every day, for as long as we choose this life together." As night fell over the ranch, the stars reflected in her eyes, and she knew without a shadow of doubt that she had found not just a husband, but a partner, a home, and a love that could carry her through any challenge. And in that quiet, perfect moment, the story closed not with an ending, but with a beginning, a life lived together, built on trust, courage, and the quiet, enduring power of love.